Okay guys, now that I have freshly done little Rudies and a beautiful face of makeup, did a little live video, so if you want to catch that on my Instagram story, you can catch that above. But I'm going to be taking my flat iron and doing some curls today. So I have posted a video on how to do this previously, and I'm just going to smooth out some of these top pieces in the meantime. But for all of you who haven't catched my video before, you can catch it here. So, tips and tricks on how to curl with a flat iron. I personally like to keep my flat iron set between 380 and 400 degrees. There's little tricks that will help you along the way when doing these curls. So, if you have a lot of hair, my first suggestion is to separate your hair in half, obviously, like so, and clip this top portion up. You can come back to this at a later time, get it up and out of the way. That way you have less in your way as you're curling. I then split in the back very evenly, half to half, and bring that forward to my shoulders. So I'm gonna start with these front pieces here. I'll start on this side. So take a small section. Doesn't have to be an exact section. It could be, you know, I say usually like a square inch or so. I don't have a lot of hair, so that is a finer section for me. If you have very thick hair, take smaller sections. It'll make it much more controllable and easy for you to work with. You're going to grab your hair piece, take your iron, place it midway or to the top of the hair shaft. Clamp your iron, flip this whole, let's try that again. Clamp your iron, flip this whole thing 180, and I always like to hold on to my ends. And the trick is you want to pull steady and smooth all the way through the ends. Now, the slower and the more steady you pull, the tighter your curl is. You see this here? So you got little Goldilocks, Goldie rings. If you don't want tight curls, you could also use this other method. I'll show you on this side. So, same thing, take a piece of hair, about an inch size section, your iron, take it from the top, rotate it 180, but instead of going slow, we're gonna pull a little bit faster and leave these ends out and drop it. This is a little bit more what's in fashion right now. It gives you those straight ends with a little bit of bend and wave. And so I'm gonna continue doing this half and half on my hair so you can sort of see the different styles. I'll take the section behind it, about an inch section, take your iron, rotate 180, fast, leave your ends out, and it gives a little wave. If you feel like you didn't get enough of a bend and you want to redo that piece, leave that for your next piece. Let it cool completely and come back to it. So I'm gonna move on to these pieces here. Clamp, rotate 180, pull down and through and leave those ends out. And I got this springy, wavy type of bend. I go back to that second piece because I can talk today. And try that again. Leaving ends out. You can see it just curls up on its own right there. I'm gonna take these three pieces that I did and move them behind my shoulder and get this inner piece right here. 180, leaving the ends out, and there you go. And once you brush this out, you do get a very like beach wave type of style. Gives you a little bit more modern bend. So for the section above it, I'm going to continue doing the same technique, but do it in the opposite direction except for the piece directly by my face. Everything by my face I like to do away from it. Internally, I can alternate back and forth. So back to your extra curly sides. We have this really, really nice, beautiful curl here. We're gonna move on to the section behind it. Take about an inch section, iron at the top, rotate a full 180, and slow and steady. Sometimes I pull it towards my face, that way I'm not extending my arm out in a more extended manner. And you get a nice full curl. Okay, do one more section with everything forward. Rotate 180, slow, steady, pulling forward all the way through to the ends. Okay, I'm going to take these 3 pieces and put them behind my shoulder just for some more control, and then curl this last piece here. Okay, so all of these are going away from my face. I'm going to let them cool completely and move on to the top section, and we'll continue this look. Okay. I always keep a brush handy just in case you do have some sections that you want to like pull through. So again, this front piece, I'm going to section and do this away from my face to the mid, 180, pull down, and I'm going to leave those ends out. Yeah, maybe hit a little bit more, give it some extra bend. I'll take the section behind it, part up. Because I have extensions, I'm doing vertical partings that go basically from the mid underneath my occipital ridge to the top of my hair. And this one I'm gonna do forward. So place your iron, rotate 180, try to control those ends, pull that out, leaving the mids out. Okay, that one's the opposite. I'm gonna move to the section behind it. Should be this guy right here. And this one I am going to do away from my face. So rotate 180, pull, 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 pull. Leave those ends out. Okay. Move on to the other section if you want to do a full curly look. So same thing, taking this section, vertical section right by my face. I'll brush it out for a little bit more control. Into the mids, rotate 180 away from my face, control those ends forward, and pull smooth, steady, slow, all the way through the ends. Boop, boop. Move on to the section behind it. I'm going to actually divide this in half because I part my hair to this side. I have a couple more extensions than I do on the other, so this gives me much more control. So take this section all the way to the top, rotate 180, pull smooth and slow and all the way down. If your iron doesn't get caught in a snag, you can sort of wiggle it back and forward. Make sure you have some sort of oil, heat protectant, some sort of thermal protectant on your hair, especially when you're using hot tools and a flat iron. It is a very high heat and your hair needs to retain as much moisture as it has. So if you're using thermal protecting products, oils, or serums, that helps to act as a nice little oven mitt for your hair. Keeps it nice and protected, keeps everything from getting burnt, and keeps that moisture locked in, so that way if you are burning off any moisture, it is the product you added and not the natural moisture in your hair. I'm just working my way around. Okay, guys, so there you have it. We have fully curled on this side, a little bit of a looser beach wave type of texture on this side. And for both, what I like to do is take my wet brush, my vented wet brush, or a wide tooth comb and comb these out. So I never leave curls curled like this. It just doesn't look great. So even with these, you can finger pick this texture side out, but I like to brush it. I have extensions, they tend to piece out on their own anyway. So I'll brush through this. You can sort of see the texture we created. Because you're alternating back and forth on this side, you get the nice variation in texture. Okay. With side one, we'll move on to this one. So this, because we did everything in the same direction away from your face in full curls, this should give you Hollywood waved curls. So really tight, does bounce back together. It should all end up in that Farrah type of thing. Okay, so that is creating two different textures with your flat iron. You get very, very different results just by the way that you're manipulating your iron. So who's to say that that tool cannot be multi-purpose? Okay, what do you guys think? Which side do you like better? Beachy wave, rocker chic, or classic and curly?